of YouTube as a YouTuber. Now, here's the concern. So, there was a comment attempting to roast me, and then I clapped back to that comment. Then there was another comment below my comment, which I thought was the original commenter roasting me back, but it was a new commenter roasting the commenter in defense of me. So I clapped back against someone that wasn't, like, deserving of it. And the reason is because the icons of both of those usernames, of both of those accounts, were the same default color that YouTube put. So if you don't have a profile photo, what happens is YouTube gives you, I guess, a random icon with the letter of your first username, and then the icon is a solid color with that letter. So in my case, it was two green icons. So, like, one could argue that, yes, like, I ought to read the usernames, but a more user-friendly way to accomplish that is for the icons to differ. And if the account users don't have icons, then YouTube can find a way to ensure that those icons indeed differ, unless the user is able to determine the color of the icon, and it just so happens two commenters, although with differing opinions, had the same color user icon. So that took me a little over a minute to describe. Someone tuned out, and YouTube Shorts maxes out at a minute, so I think it was a wise choice for me to vent that here via live stream than to make a YouTube short about it. The moral of the story is that I ought to pay attention to the usernames and extrapolate context, or confirm it, or evaluate it, or reevaluate it, based on me determining who is saying what and who is responding to whom. So, welcome, viewers. Please introduce yourselves. I'm going to act like a teacher or something. I don't know. Or a professor. Introduce yourselves. I would never teach kids. I would only, like, teach college students or community college students or graduate students, but not grade school students, because they don't have a choice. They have to be there. I mean, that's sort of the key reason there. Like, I couldn't imagine being a teacher or an instructor or a professor of students in front of me that like had no choice but to be there. So, like, that's a really tough predicament. Bradley says, "Hi, I'm Bradley. How are you, Bradley? Welcome to the stream. How's your well, for me it's night. If it's night for you, how's your night going? But if it's a different time, how's your time going?" Yes, Bradley, you can ask me some questions, please. That would actually be a great exercise. Ask as many questions as you want, Bradley. I am here to answer and here to communicate. So fire away. I see there are 5 viewers, so feel free to ask your questions or make your comments. I'm happy to engage with your communication, with my communication. I was just talking about how, oh, good. We got well, Carl over or Carl lover? Carl over. Carl lover? You know, I'm taking a screenshot because the answer to Bradley's question could be in the username of Carl over, because Carl over is probably car lover, and you know, I'm sure we're all lovers. And Bradley is a troll, but a darn good one, because YouTube is not flagging these. YouTube flags comments that are way less offensive than Bradley's most recent question. But Bradley's prior question, which is, what's your sexuality, is a valid one. Turns out I'm straight and in a very happy relationship. But the latter question of Bradley, I'm surprised YouTube not flagged that. Shaliza Davis says hi. And I think Shaliza says I never, but maybe not. Car Lover says yes with 2 emojis where money is involved. Money, yes. That emoji reminds me of Cardi B. I think she like uses that facial expression a lot, and I'm sure she enjoys money as many of us do. Car Lover, Car Lover says, "Man, cancel this guy." Car Lover, you retracted your comment. You retracted the message. I was like so close to reading it. Geoffrey One Up says a sentence that well, Geoffrey One Up, you shouldn't be eating anything because I think that's a crime. Like cannibalism is a crime. So like, you know, you can't eat. Uh, it just so happens I'm vegetarian. Car Lover says money flame. What was your retracted message, Car Lover? I'm like super curious now. Wow, we're down to 2 viewers. It's 11:11 Eastern time. Make a wish. Make a wish, everybody. Make a wish right now. Carlover says, "I know I sent an earth emoji on accident." Oh, did you? So your retracted message was money and then earth emoji. Geoffrey retracted his message that said something about eating feet and whatnot because Geoffrey doesn't want to be in trouble for being a cannibal or supporting cannibalism. Geoffrey One Up. Some guy, how you been? Some guy, what's up? Sarthik, are you Indian? Take a guess, Sarthik. Take a guess. I am flabbergasted. So here the start of this live stream, my friends. I was talking about how I saw 2 comments in one of my videos, and one of them was actually supporting me. One of them was not, and I thought both were against me, and I roasted the commenter in support of me because I thought both of those comments are coming from the same commenter. And one of the reasons I thought they were the same is because the color of their username icon was the same color, and they both didn't have profile pictures. So I think YouTube gave them a random color icon with a letter, but it's also possible that they chose the color of that letter icon. That all could have been solved had I read the username carefully, which I will be sure to do. Okay. Some guy says, "How's life?" Life this week was stressful, but today was a good day, especially in the evening. I went rock climbing, and I climbed hard levels of a rock climbing like path. I don't even know the semantics, but yeah, I did a good job at rock climbing today, and I performed at Give a Hoot Comedy Club at their open mic, and I had a good, productive open mic set. Sarthik says, "Did you like to have biryani? Google biryani. You definitely love in it." You seem very excited, Sarthik. I don't think I need to Google biryani, but if anyone else would like to do that, please don't. Just stay tuned. Some guy says, "What's the comment?" Well, so what I did was I okay. So how do I start? I should have saved a screenshot, but basically, okay, here. So on YouTube Shorts, you can remix and react to videos. I had a brief reaction to a short video, and it wasn't very like thoughtful. It was just a quick reaction, and an angry commenter said, "Come on, man, add something to the video." And then I responded back saying, "What's there to add?" Like, I reacted to the video. There's my reaction. When it comes to YouTube Shorts, I pump them out. I quickly make one, I quickly upload, and I quickly make another one. That's just how I operate on YouTube Shorts. That's not necessarily how I operate on other apps, but on YouTube Shorts, it's a numbers game. I just pump them out. I kind of treat YouTube Shorts like people used to treat Snapchat. I say used to because I'm not really on Snapchat anymore, but in the 2010s, Snapchat users would just like vlog their thoughts away, but then the Snapchats would disappear because that's how the app was designed. I treat YouTube Shorts like Snapchat in the sense that I'm not polishing or editing my drafts really. I mean, like very little, very quick, like easy edits to my uploads, but like I don't have any drafts. Like I make edits that I can in real time, and then I just hit upload. Like I don't want like for YouTube Shorts. Like I'm not gonna save drafts. I'm just gonna hit upload. So that's just how that works. Oh, thank you, some guy. Yes, I think I saw you, some guy in one of my spicy threads when a battle was popping off. But um, so yeah, I mean, I commented on the comment saying, "What's there to add?" Again, the original comment said, "Add more to the video," and then the comment to the commenter said something like, uh, "You're useless," but that commenter was it was like defending me, and but I thought it was directed at me. So I replied saying something fairly benign. I didn't say anything too crazy. I was just like, "Look at your life. Are you happy?" Um, the tone of that kind of implies that only miserable people roast, but uh, yeah, the commenter was like, "Hey man, make sure you pay attention to." It was actually very constructive. Make sure you pay attention to who you're replying to and what like what they're saying. And I noticed I was like, oh, the usernames are different, and I ought to pay attention to that. Um, but it's all good. It's all good. I think I expressed a brief and cordial apology in the comments. Um, the internet is a tough place. You got to have thick skin to be on here. I don't know if that's actually true. You have to have thick skin to like consistently upload on here because, especially as a comedian, people have high expectations of comedians. Um, some guy asks, "How did I get 2K subs?" And it's a good question. I don't know in a way. I do know. Here's my thing. If you see my YouTube channel, I have over 3K video uploads. So that goes hand in hand with what I said about uploading YouTube Shorts. I basically upload like crazy. I use hashtags like nuts. These are metaphors of like how many of the amount, not like hashtag nuts. I don't think I have any videos with literal hashtag nuts, but I'm basically uploading like a monster, a lot of videos, and that's the gist of it. So like on YouTube Studio on web version, I'll update the subtitles. So the reason my YouTube Shorts don't have subtitles is because I'm relying on YouTube's closed captioning, and you can edit and update the closed captioning on YouTube on only the web version of YouTube Studio. Hey YouTube, if you're listening, let us YouTubers upload and edit and update captions on the mobile version of YouTube Studio. Joffrey says English or Spanish. If I was Drake, I would say 6-ish, because that's the age that Drake is into. But for me, Geoffrey, English or Spanish, you know, I don't think that meme works because the question that makes people freeze is asked after they answer what language they want to speak. But just asking the language, like, that's not that's not the thing. Like when you just ask the language, you're not trapping me in a corner where I'm stuck and I have to freeze. It's the follow up. So it's like what like what why is the running joke that you have to freeze too soon? Some guy says Punjabi JK. Rowling. I do not know Punjabi, but one of my roommates did. He tuned into one of these live streams, and thankfully I haven't seen his username since. But then again, he might be a viewer right now. So there's that. I yeah, I guess I really have to pay attention to comments and usernames and bears. Oh my. We have one viewer. Great. Cool. I mean, the thing about this particular live stream is that I'm pretty honest, and here's what initiated this live stream. Some guy says I speak a bit of Punjabi. Oh, that's pretty cool. How are you Punjabi, or how'd that happen? Are you South Asian, some guy, or what's the deal? Um, Liam do Ty the goat says, hey, how are you? Is it Liam? Should I refer to you as Liam, or something else? How are you? What started this live stream was just like I wanted to not echo. I wanted to voice some experiential user feedback as a YouTuber in reading comments on YouTube on my videos, and I don't know. Maybe YouTube could increase the font size of some of the usernames so that I know who I'm replying to and with what. That's what's up, Liam. Some guy says, I just listened to my parents. Okay. Well, that's good. In theory. And I think that's usually a better choice than to not listen to them. But I also think discussing matters with parents ought to be an option. One of my biggest pet peeves growing up and to this day when communicating with people is when discussions are ended instead of tabled. So I understand the need to table a discussion, like to discuss things later, but to end a discussion, like just because, like that just shows impatience. So, food for thought. And that pertains to communicating with anybody in almost any context. Some guy says I'm Pakistani/Indian. Nice, very cool, very cool. Nice, but I can barely speak it. I relate. I can understand more than I'm able to speak personally. So there's that. Wow. I'm still I wouldn't say in shock, but just the other factor that I think this isn't the other I'm not going to say the other reason that caused me to misread a YouTube comment, but the other factor. Cuz at the end of the day it's on me. It's my responsibility, it's my fault. But I want to acknowledge that when I'm more busy and therefore tired, or when I'm tired, I'm more prone to making errors in anything. So I think it's better for me to table these tasks. I'm not going to ignore them completely, but table tasks until I have the energy to do them. Table is a verb, by the way. That means to delay, but like purposefully. Some guy asks, what's your opinion on Taylor Swift? Taylor Swift, I think I've gotten that question like 3 or 4 or 5 live streams ago, maybe in my very first live stream. Taylor Swift is very successful, and I envy that success, especially the money aspect. Elijah Fontzekwe. Elijah says, I'm from Nepal and trying to... Wow, YouTube does not flag stuff. Elijah, would you like to elaborate on what exactly you are doing to yourself? And elaborate in as much detail as possible. Just let it all out. The details, not the dairy. Some guy says mistakes are always made. Thank you, some guy. That's reassuring. Elijah says, do you think pizza is the food of the gods? That's a surprisingly clean question. I'm having tongue twisters. Do you think pizza is the food of the gods? Some guy retracted the message. I feel like I didn't see a bad word, or maybe it was a mistake. Some guy. Now I'm curious, some guy. What was the message you retracted just now? I'm like super curious. Elijah asked, do you think pizza is the food of the gods? I mean, it can be. Whenever I would hop on other people's live streams, especially if they were celebrities, I would ask them their favorite pizza toppings, and most of the celebrities would get excited at that question and answer it with enthusiasm. But there was one, like, really cocky guy. I don't know his name, but he's the singer for Passion Pit, and I think Passion Pit is like a one-person artist. Incredibly cocky. I'm not really going to comment on his music, but like personality is just not likable. Um, so therefore, not a fan. Uh, some guy says burgers are and butter chicken, in my opinion. Okay, okay. I'm actually vegetarian, but I do like veggie burgers. I like Impossible burgers, I like Beyond burgers. If there's a mock butter chicken, I'll eat it. I've had butter paneer, so that's pretty good. Elijah is gonna troll. Uh, darn YouTube. Um, Elijah, I guess that's a form of self care. Uh, should I start roasting Elijah? I don't even know who Elijah is. Like, I guess. How do I draw attention away from that? Well, the thing is, I'm a stand-up comedian, and when I was at Give a Hoot Comedy Club in Shady Grove Plaza in Maryland, uh, Elijah retracted the message. I wonder. So, do y'all think Elijah retracted his message, or did YouTube retract his message, or was it something else? Like, I'm surprised if Elijah retracted his own message or their own message. I don't want to assume gender because, like, why would you say something so bold and then be self-aware just a few seconds later to take it back? That's way too much to expect from YouTube commenters. So I'm curious, did Elijah retract it or did YouTube retract it? Elijah says that was a typo. Okay, if you say so. If you say so, Elijah. We're back to one viewer. Who could it be? Could it be some guy? Could it be Liam? Could it be Elijah? Okay, we're now at 4 viewers. Okay. So it could be those 3 and then some. Elijah says hello. How are you, Elijah? I think Elijah is retracting the messages because YouTube wouldn't be that fast and wouldn't retract just a hello. So Liam says I'm here still. Some guy says I'm here. Thank you. I really appreciate that, and I mean that. I'm also glad everyone on this chat has a profile picture because, as I said earlier, what caused me to make an error in interpreting people's comments is the lack of profile photos. So if you're a YouTube commenter, get a profile picture. It doesn't have to be a picture of you. It could be anything, just anything recognizable. Elijah says my messages are being removed. I wonder if I can actually fix that. So I just changed the filter, message filter to all chat messages instead of top chat messages. So maybe that'll help. I don't know. YouTube could pay me more. So in the spirit of changing top messages to all messages, YouTube better give me some top or else all hell will break loose. I don't know. Elijah says hello again. Yeah, that is interesting. I agree, Liam. We can see the messages, but they keep being removed. So if Elijah is doing that on purpose, that's expert level trolling, but I don't really mind because it's kind of fun. But that seems odd. I think I wonder if there's a third party. Yeah, no, I saw your message just now, Elijah. I can confirm that your messages keep on getting retracted. If you're no, that's interesting. Would anyone else like to participate in the chat? Do you have any questions for me, or comments to make? Elijah says I'm going. Let's see if that message gets retracted. Bro, stay safe. Thank you, Elijah. You too. You too. Ooh, I see some emojis. I see some 100 emojis. That makes me feel good. Elijah says I'll be at your gig next week. Oh, thank you. Wow. I appreciate that, Elijah. Which gig, Elijah? I have multiple, but thank you. Thank you for that. Some guy says, "What's your opinion on furries?" And Liam DeGoat says, what do I ask? You can ask anything, Liam. Maybe if you got a problem that needs solving, maybe I can try to help, like, solve it verbally. Not, I don't know about solving it verbally, but identifying a solution verbally, because I might not have the means to solve the problem, but I can maybe speak a solution to it. Whatever that issue might be. And if you don't have any, that's cool. Maybe you have a friend. Maybe you have a friend that has a problem that needs solving, and I can talk a solution. Some guy says, "What's my opinion on furries?" I don't know that I've met a furry. I have comedy material on furries, concepts, premises where, like, okay, I'm hairy. I'm a hairy dude. Does that make me a furry, like, by default, against my own will, or does that just mean I attract furries just as a hairy dude? You know what I'm saying? Not only am I a hairy dude, but I've got, like, I wouldn't say huge, but, like, big doe eyes, and then, like, the eye bags might accentuate that. I don't know. Elijah says, can a man get pregnant? Technically, yes. I'll only elaborate if y'all want me to. Liam says, all right. Some guy says, what's 9 plus 10? 19. Stance on... Elijah says, stance on regendered makes in women's restrooms. What do you mean by makes? Makes? Makes. Yeah, elaborate on what you mean by makes, Elijah. DeGoat, what's up, DeGoat? I do remember you. How have you been? It's been maybe a day or so. DeGoat, how are you? Some guy says, a furry caked me weird for not wearing a fursuit. So, some guy, I'm super curious, did the furry cake you weird or call you weird? Because each possibility is equally likely. Like, I don't know if that's a typo or if that's what actually happened. Did you get called weird, or did you get caked weird? Did you get caked in a weird way? Caked in a way that was deviant? I don't actually know what cake means unless it's like Steve Aoki, the DJ, throwing a sheet cake at an audience member. I don't know if it has another meaning than that. Some guy meant to say call. Okay. Okay, so a furry called some guy weird for not wearing a fursuit. So some guy, that implies that you were at a furry convention or setting with fellow furries. One comeback is if some guy, if you happen to be hairy like me, just be like, I'm a natural furry, organic, locally sourced fur. All right? So they're complaining for what? Hey, bars. Roman, the person who posts everything. Hey, what's up, Roman? It's been a while. At least I feel like it has, just based on how many live streams. So how have you been, Roman? What's up? Great to have you. Elijah says, stance on males that have... Okay, so Elijah didn't mean to say makes. Elijah meant to say males. Elijah says, stance on males that have regendered in female toilets. You should be able to use the bathroom based on the gender you identify with. And there are plenty of right-wing Republican politicians that have committed heinous things that folks that identify as transgender typically get accused of and stereotyped of. That's my take. Elijah says, and males participating in women's sports as female. You're welcome, Elijah. The sports is a trickier one. Here's my take on sports leagues that might pertain to gender in sports leagues. I wish we lived in a world where if anyone could be a professional athlete, they could. Like, I wish, and this is unrealistic, it's just a entertaining thought. So I wish that we lived in a society where we could play in the Z League. So we could play whatever sport we wanted to professionally, make a living off of it, but we would be in the 26th tier of competence. I basically wish that we could get paid to play rec sports on some level. It's an unrealistic fantasy, but I think that it accounts for the sort of utopia that I'm envisioning. It accounts for sports that maybe haven't been invented yet. It accounts for, like, here's the thing. boxing and fighting sports, they have weight classes. Tell me why basketball doesn't really have height classes, or maybe it does, but athletes in the under 6 foot league they don't make as much money. Like, if there was more equitable infrastructure, economic infrastructure for people to play sports, and this doesn't just apply to sports. Like, I'm an amateur comedian, whatever you want to call it. Like, I embrace the idea of people being able to do what they want to do and make a living off of it. And then, so to me, when you in that utopian idea, it doesn't matter like what you identify as. It just matters how good you are at that sport, and you get placed in the league, like, of that sport, irrespective of gender or perhaps demographic or I don't know. So some guy says they just called me a loser and weird when I asked them a legit and genuine question. You're referring to the furries, some guy? And remind me, what was the question you asked the furries, some guy? Because some guy, you said a furry called you weird for not wearing a fursuit. So, what was the question that you asked the furries, some guy? Roman says, I have to go to bed. Gotcha. See you, Roman. Peace. Thank you for tuning in. Get some good rest. Take care of yourself. Rehydrate in the morning. Eat a healthy breakfast. All that good stuff. DeGoat says, thoughts on kids that use the other gender bathrooms? Interesting. Like, if anyone is using a bathroom that aligns with a gender that they don't identify with, I guess that's an issue, but people have done that if one bathroom is locked and it's an emergency. I guess some of the more modern establishments and businesses I've seen have, like, multiple gender neutral restrooms. So I think over time infrastructure is kind of like solving this problem overall. Some guy asks, are your pronouns human being? And some guy says, my intrusive thoughts one. Sure. I guess. Pronouns, where do I start? I support people identifying what they want to identify as and have them write out what they want to be called, if they choose to write out what they want to be called. Something struck a chord with me, because I'm generally progressive. I'm generally somewhat left of center. What stuck out to me is the obligation for everyone to put forth their pronouns, but, like, what if you want to leave it to either mystery or assumption? And you also simultaneously don't mind other people's assumptions of you. So that's food for thought. Like, in other words, I support the usage of pronouns and embracing of what you identify as, but do the identification of your personal pronouns have to be mandatory? So there's that. Some guy says, wait, that was another convention. How many conventions do you go to, some guy? That's I don't know how. Oh, I just realized convention refers to, like, con, like cosplaying cons. I keep on forgetting that con is synonymous, possibly, with the word convention. So some guy says, the question was, I just said, don't you feel hot in the suit, to the furries, and then they got defensive about feeling hot. Okay. They got defensive. Interesting. I think if they got defensive, it implies that they were indeed hot, but the reward of displaying their furriness outweighs the hotness of wearing the suit. And yeah, I agree. That's got to be rough in this summer heat. Like, if you're a furry, host your convention in the wintertime where it would actually make sense. You'll, like, recruit so many more members and people will join your cause. My beard would be grown out. Like, well, that's neither here nor there. I don't know how furries feel about that. So, the goat comment says, for example, kid that have single mom, dad, and their parents are scared that if they go in there, there's going to be a creep. Yeah, well, the goat, I think that whether or not a creep enters a bathroom doesn't correlate with if someone's entering the wrong bathroom. Because, like, if there's a creep in the building, everyone in the building has bigger problems than who's using what bathroom. You just got to get rid of the creep. Like, the problem lies within the creep. The problem doesn't lie with how bathrooms are labeled. I think it's sort of a matter of priorities and stuff like that. Like, yeah. Some guy says they just roasted other cosplayers. But yeah. I think another part of this bathroom issue, I think stays an issue for buildings that can't like update their signage or like reinstall or rebuild a whole new bathroom setup. Because I think a gender neutral way to do it is where all the sinks are public. All the bathroom sinks are for all the bathroom users, including the bathroom users that don't actually have to go to the bathroom but just have to wash their hands. And then every stall is an individual stall. So like that, like there's no sort of consideration in a positive way of gender and whatnot. All the sinks are shared. Like there are infrastructural solutions to this, but I wouldn't be surprised if public schools can't afford those changes to be made. So yeah, but bathroom literally depends on infrastructure and functional plumbing. All right. DeGoat retracted the message. Oh, now I'm curious, DeGoat. What was your retracted message? Tell me. We have 5 viewers total, and we've got lots of questions about things. So, speaking of, DeGoat says true. Yeah, thank you. Speaking of going to the bathroom, make sure you eat your fiber, especially as you age. Like fiber, because you don't want stuff stuck in your system. Fiber gets it out. Because if it doesn't get out of your system, you're gonna have health problems. So eat your vegetables to kind of like when you get to a certain age, eat your vegetables, even if you don't feel like it, to kind of keep things moving. Yeah. That's that I'm gonna call that life advice. I don't know if I should call it health advice because YouTube might get feisty or something. It says it was nothing. Got you. All good. Some guy says, then they called me a weirdo when I asked them, do dogs feel that they're being mocked when you dress up as one? That's interesting, some guy. I gotta be honest, some guy, that seems like like, I feel like there are more neutral ways to converse with furries or anybody, but if you're looking for a reaction from them, they're probably holding back and called you weird. I've never talked to a furry. It's interesting, some guy, I like the way you phrase the questions, because this is how I'd phrase them when I'm on stage as a comedian. Because the comedic effect comes from the egregiousness of how bold your question is and how charged it is when you're on stage. In real life, I don't know. Not entirely sure if that's the effect I'm going for, unless I'm like filming content or something. But interesting experience, some guy. Are these conventions you're going to, are they in the U.S.? Like what? Tell me where they are, because I somehow doubt that they're in India and or Pakistan. DeGoat says thought. What are your thoughts, DeGoat? I want to know DeGoat's thoughts. Liam DeGoat. Oh, we have multiple goats in here. Okay. Liam DeGoat asks, what do you do if one of your friends started vaping and you don't think they will stop if you say something about it? Ooh. All right, let's break that down. One of your friends started vaping and I don't think they'll stop if I say something about it. So in other words, I don't think they'll stop even if I say something about it. Uh, so Liam, it sounds like you're wondering if you should say something at all about the vaping of your friend. I think I would say something, but yeah, I also recognize the need to maybe be strategic about what to say and how to say it for a hopeful outcome that your friend stops vaping. I hope I understand the question correctly. Yeah, if you don't think they'll stop, that's a tough one. Um, I don't know. Yeah, that's the thing. Because I don't know how many of my friends vape, but the ones that do seem to, I don't want to say be hooked on it, but they seem to do it as often as they might like have a drink or something. So I'll tell you what, because like I might have a sip of a drink at like a wedding, which might happen up to a handful of times a year. But I think my friends that vape do it much more often than up to a handful of times a year. So, hmm, that's a tough one. But yeah, I would say something about it. For sure. Maybe just be strategic about how you say it and what exactly you say, and maybe express concerns about, hey, I'm just looking out for you, looking out for your health, that type of thing. Some guy says, I just see furries in anime cons in Canada. But I mean, why do they dress up as a furry if it's an anime con? Some technical. Oh, okay. I think that's a fair criticism. A fair. I think that's a fair assessment. Some guy. I agree with you. I agree with you. DeGoat says thoughts on parents that don't make baby showers because they want their child to pick their own gender at and. Okay, I understand the question. Um, I think you can have a baby shower without a gender reveal. Uh, So I think it's doable to have a baby shower without revealing biological sex. Leonor says hi. How are you? Let me know how I pronounce that, Leonor. Uh, some guy says and fan expo in Toronto. Yeah, I think expos and cons, if they have a certain purpose and you deviate from that, I think it is justified to ask questions, even if those questions are snarky. Um, so I'm with you there, some guy. Although Canadians, I thought y'all were nice, but you're a rebel, aren't you? Liam DeGoat says thanks. DeGoat says at an appropriate age. Yeah, that's fair. I think I don't have kids, but I think that's a fair assessment. The Niger player says, "What's up? This might be the first YouTube live I'm catching. Oh, welcome, Toby from the YG universe. Yang Gang. That is cool. I was a very active volunteer for the Yang 2020 campaign, and that was a good time. It was fun. It was yeah, it was very fulfilling. It was very eye opening as well. Um, welcome. That's what's up. I'm happy. I'm happy this is happening. We have YouTube commenters asking all kinds of questions. This is a good time to plug universal basic income because with inflation and just life, some unconditional cash would take us a long way. Universal basic income. I wonder if universal basic income. It 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 works, but it needs to be implemented right. It needs to be recurring. It needs to be unconditional. All that good stuff. Uh, Toby says, I agree. I have zero energy for politics 4 years later, but that was amazing time. I'm with you. I'm pretty checked out. I think there's Yeah, I think I have zero energy for like the actual work, like the actual canvassing, unless it's like legitimately fun. But like I don't want to be in a position where I'm doing actual work and not being like compensated for it because I already lived that life as a stand-up comedian. uh DeGoat says thoughts on Palestine versus Israel war. I don't really think it's a war at this point. The resources that Israel has is like a lot, and the innocent civilians on the Palestinian side don't deserve the violence they're receiving. So, free Palestine. That's my opinion there. Um, so yeah, energy in terms of politics. I think that yeah, I have there's a big part of me that resonates with that. I also have no energy for politics, but I think I still have energy for maybe philosophical discussions in general, maybe like discussions on ethics and philosophy. But I think I've burnt out from hoping that those discussions will translate into meaningful policy level change that benefits the average person. So, yeah. Um, Liam says, "All right, I'm leaving now, but I'll be back in your next live." Thank you, Liam. Thank you for tuning in. The goat says, "That's why I love you." Thank you. Appreciate that, the goat. Some guy says, "Where do you do your stand-up shows?" These days, mostly in the DMV, DC, Maryland, Virginia area. The most, the comedy club that I frequent the most is called Give a Hoot Comedy Club in Gaithersburg, Maryland, in Shady Grove Plaza. That's where I'm present most often. I just remembered I have to send an email to the comedy club now. I'll do that while I continue this live. Thank you for asking. My next big show is in New York City on July 26th, which is a Friday. It's at 7 o'clock at Broadway Comedy Club. It's an all South Asian show at Broadway Comedy Club in New York City, specifically Midtown Manhattan, July 26th, Friday. So, if you're a New Yorker, be there. Oh, right. Some guy lives in Canada. I've never been to Canada, but the comedy is very strong in Canada, so I hope to visit Canada. What's the nearest major city you're in or near? Some guy, and I'll try to set up a gig. Oh, okay. Some guy says I'll ask my brother because you're 13. Understandable. Yeah, I comedy shows might not. Comedy clubs, traditional comedy clubs, may not let kids in, but that also, I mean, they also might. It might depend on the show. It might depend on the show time, all that good stuff. I've done a comedy show at a library, like library conference rooms, performing for mostly adults, and some of them brought their kids. So like I have experience doing comedy for all kinds of people. Uh, yes, so I gotta send this email to this comedy club, and I'm gonna get that popping right now. I'm gonna hit compose. Compose. What a pompous term for writing an email. Compose. Like, I don't know. Some guy says, "Yeah, I'll do my research." Sounds good. Toby says, "Yes, you said it well. I do follow politics and like keeping up with stuff related to the process, but zero energy to do the work." Well said. Thank you. Yeah, Toby. Yeah. Yes, I'm in the DMV. Uh, oh, Toby's in Gaithersburg. Okay. Small world. Small world. That is lit. Um, and you were in where were you before? That is wild. Okay. Okay. And then some guy says near Toronto and Niagara Falls. So yeah, I will try to see if I can set up a comedy gig uh, near or in Toronto. I'm performing at a nonprofit show on Sunday in Virginia. I think is Manassas. It's like a 3 p.m. free nonprofit clean comedy show in Virginia this coming Sunday. I'll share the information to my Instagram story at some point before Sunday and on Sunday. So that'll be a thing. Otherwise, in terms of Gaithersburg, I try to attend and perform every Wednesday evening open mic at Give a Hoot Comedy Club, which is inside La Mex restaurant in Shady Grove Plaza. La Mexicana. Uh, that's and then maybe once or twice a month I do the weekend professional shows. I'm on the lineup in the professional weekend shows about once or twice a month on average these days. Some guy says, "Do you film your shows live on YouTube?" So what I do is I record. Yeah, I record all of my shows and then I upload certain clips to YouTube, mostly on YouTube Shorts. Some of it on like traditional YouTube, landscape view, and I also do that on Instagram and TikTok. So, what I won't do is like live stream a full on show unless there's some kind of gimmick. So there's that. Yeah, I'll put up clips here and there, either highlights or unique moments. Oh, some guy says I'm not allowed Instagram. Yeah, so some guy you can what you can do, some guy, is see my content on YouTube. That should work totally fine. I should sign out soon. I think this might be my longest live stream yet. It's 51 minutes. Toby says I was in the Boston area. Okay, I like Boston. I performed there in 2021. Hope to do it again very, very soon, actually. It should happen. This guy looks tired and ill. Well, gee, thanks, Sarah. Do you have any medicine? What did I do? Oh, yeah, this is no filter. Sarah says this guy looks tired and ill. That can only refer to me. You know what I'm tired and ill of, Sarah? The lack of universal basic income. Contact your nearest politician. Have them implement UBI. That's universal basic income or unconditional basic income. We need power to the people. We need money to the people, stat. And then maybe I can look less tired and exhausted or whatever the heck. I just put on a filter. Hopefully the filter helps offset some of the deficiencies here. So, yeah. Toby says live's a little behind right now, so catching up. No worries, all good. Some guy says, I think some guy's elaborating on why he's not on Instagram because something happened to his friend. That sounds rough. Toby, yeah. Hopefully you can catch one of my shows soon. I wonder if you could. I'll try to post some announcements. The next nearest show is in Virginia this Sunday at 3:00 p.m. It shouldn't be too far from Gaithersburg, but as a performing comedian, our tolerance for driving far is higher because we're always going after gigs and stage time. So otherwise, you can expect me to be at a Wednesday night open mic show at Give a Hoot Comedy Club. It's free entry, and this is inside La Mexicana restaurant in Shady Grove Plaza. Hey, thank you all so much. I think I should wrap it up. This is super cool. Feel free to engage on my content. You can reach out to me by commenting on my content, or you could find my social medias. You could probably find my email too. I could just tell you it's muditcomedy@gmail.com. Mudit's my first name. It's also my YouTube name, Mudit. Peace out, y'all.